Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. Today's video is going to be the first in a series of charms that I'm making in my Celestial series. So I say the first, we have already had a tutorial for my little sun charm, but since then I came up with all these other ideas, so I thought I'd turn it into a series. So if you want to check out how to make the little sun, that is already on my channel. I'll leave a link in the description below for that one, but all the others I haven't filmed yet. So today we're going to be making the moon, crescent moon design. This one's so sparkly, look at that. And then upcoming we've also got a little earth charm, which I want to work on a bit more, make it a bit rounder. It's a little bit flat, but we'll have an earth charm coming up. This really pretty, slightly 3D starburst charm, and my favourite, which is my little beaded Saturn charm. So cute. And then, of course, I thought I'd include this one in this series because it kind of fits in with the theme. My little alien spaceship, which will be coming towards the end of the series. So today we're going to make the moon charm. So to make the moon, you're going to need some size 11 seed beads. You can either use delica beads like I did for this one, or round seed beads like this. So the round seed beads make slightly larger, puffier, rounder moon, and the delica beads make a little bit smaller, slightly sharper edges, not as rounded from this side, if you see what I mean. It's not as puffy, not as 3D. It's a little bit flatter. But it works just the same with either, so it's up to you which you use. This makes more of a daintier charm, and this one's a little bit more robust. And then aside from that, you will also need a jump ring, split ring, anything you want to attach it to. You can also add a little extra bead here as well if you want to. You'll need your beading needle. I'm going to use a size 12 beading needle and £6 fire line in crystal. This does kind of need a thread that holds its shape quite well, like fire line, wildfire, more of a stiffer thread that's going to help to create the curved shape of the moon. And you're going to need approximately 24 inches of thread for one moon. And that is everything, so let's get started. So once you've threaded your needle onto your thread, you're going to pick up 24 of your silver beads. And then before you slide them down, just count them again, just to make sure you've definitely got 24, because the pattern won't work if you've got the wrong number by even one bead. So slide those down until you've got about 4 or 5 inches of thread, and then you're going to go bringing your needle round and through the first bead like that. So you're going to create a circle when you pull it through. So we have this. Now you're going to pick up one, skip the next bead and go through the one after. Pull that through, and it's important that you keep your tail thread, which is this one, pulled tight, and your working thread, and that bead you just added sits on top of the one that you skipped over, because if you don't keep pulling it tight, when you get round to the end it can be a bit confusing about which bead is on which row. So for every one that you add, make sure it's sitting nicely stacked on top. So same again, picking up one. We're coming out of here, we're going to skip over one, go through the next bead. And again, pull that tight. Sorry if you can hear my dog squeaking in the background. Pull that tight so it sits on top like that. So again, pick up one, skip over one, go through the next one, make sure it's nice and neat, pick up one, skip one, through the next one. So you want to go ahead and do that all the way around the circle, doing that same thing. So we've added 4 beads at the moment, you need to add 12 in total. So go ahead and add 8 more beads, or add 7, and then when you're adding the 8th bead I'll show you how to add that last one around here so that we can step up as well. So I've added 7 beads, I'm just going to show you adding that last bead of this row. So this is where we're coming out of. We're going to skip the next one like always, go through the one after that, and then up into the one above as well. So through 2. There we go. Sorry, I've got to go and let my dog outside. Pull that tight, and then we have this. One moment. So for the next row, we're going to add 2 beads every time, picking up 2. Coming out of this bead here, you're going to skip one, go through that next one that's kind of sticking out along the edge. Same thing, pick up 2, skip over 1, through the next one. Picking up 2, skipping over 1 and going through the next one. So you're going to do that again all the way around. You're going to add 12 groups of 2 in total. So when you get back around to here, I'll show you how to add that last group, so just hold off on that last one. So for your last 2, same thing again, it just looks like they might not fit, but you're going to do the same thing again, picking up 2. So you're coming out of this bead, skip the one underneath, go through the next one, be careful that you don't go straight up into this one above. So going through the one that's on the same level as the one you're coming out of, not the one that's stepping up above. So skip over 1, through the next one, and then you can go up through the 2 after that as well. So through that one and then through the 2 above as well. Pull that through. It's going to feel as if they don't want to fit, just pull it nice and tight. It's going to get a little bit wavy now like this, so don't worry about that. That's how it's supposed to look at this stage. This row we're going to be adding single beads again, picking up 1, skip over 1, so coming out of here, skip over 1 and go through 2. Make sure you're going through 2. So again, pick up 1, skip over 1, go through 2. Pick up 1, skip over 1, go through 2. Again, you're going to add 12 beads in total all the way around. So when you're adding your last bead, you're going to pick up 1, do the same thing again, coming out of here, skipping that one underneath, which is a bit tight now, go through the next 2 and then up into the one above. So through 2 and then through that one above as well. Pull that nice and tight. So then you should have this. Now, with your thread coming out of this bead here, you're going to fold it in half so that bead's at one of the ends rather than in the middle of the arch, if you see what I mean. And you want these beads that are sticking up on the edge to line up with the ones on this side that are sticking up on the edge. So, for example, this bead and this bead are going to line up like that. All the way along, so these 2 line up, these 2, and so on. So we're coming out of this one here at the end. And what you're going to do is pick up 2 silver. So we're coming out the one on the end, so you need to find the first bead that's sticking up on the top on this side and go through it. Then picking up 2, coming out of this one over here, we're going to cross over to this back side and through the next bead that's sticking up, but the one on the back piece this time. So it's sort of crossing across, and now we're going to cross back. So picking up 2, coming out of this one, you're going to find those next 2 that are sticking up, and you're going to go through the one on this front piece. Picking up 2, finding those next 2 that are sticking up and going through the one on the back piece this time. Picking up 2, coming out of this one, finding those next 2, turn it on its side if you have to, and going through the next one, but we're from this side, so we're going to cross to the front piece. And finally, picking up 2, coming out of here, and now you should have this one bead on the end that's kind of sticking out, and you're going to go through that one. So we have this at the moment, turning it round. So we're coming out of this one. So those 2 you just added, going to go back through those. Now we're going back up this side. You want to be going into the sides that aren't yet connected. So the 2 that I'm coming out of are connected to this bead on this side, but not to the one that matches on the other side. So going through that one. Okay, now you're going to go through those next 2 from those groups of 2s we just added all the way along. And now you need to go into the side that it's not yet connected to. So it's already connected to the bead on that side, so you're going to go through the bead on this side. See how that pulls it into the centre. So then you're going to go through the next 2 and through the one it's not connected to. Kind of zigzagging back across now, so it's going to go from this side through to that side, through to this side. See what I mean? So through the next 2 and into this one over here that it's not connected to. Keeping it pulled nice and tight. Through the next 2 and we're connected to this one, so we're going to be going into this one that it's not connected to on the other side. Back through the 2 right at the end where we started, and back into that end bead, but through the side it's not already connected to. So it's already connected. I can see the thread going into that side, so I'm going to go into the other side just to make sure everything's nice and central. So then you should have this. Okay, so from here I'm going to pick up a bead, and coming out of this one here in this direction, I'm going to go into that one above in the same direction. Back into the bead we just added, going down through the bead we just added. And back into this one on the bottom, but through the other side this time. So it's connected on both sides. So we have this. Now we're going to go across, so I'm coming out of this one, we're going to go down through the next one, and we're going to zip up this middle part here that's not all joined together. So up through this next bead. So we're coming out of this bead here, and if yours is kind of sticking up a little weird like mine, I'm going to take from this bead and go through this one we added on the end, down through that bead, and then back through that one we were just coming out of. Pull that nice and tight so they kind of join together. Now I'm going to move down from this bead into 2 beads on the inside arch. Okay, now it's kind of hard to show you now, but you're just kind of going from this bead across to this side, to this side, to this side. You're just zigzagging across. So I'm going to go through this bead on this side, into the next bead on the other side, into the next one on the other side. And it doesn't have to be exact, you're just trying to just kind of zip it together so that it doesn't have a big gap, as long as you aren't pulling the beads wildly like out of place. Just make sure you're going into a bead that's kind of level opposite, you know. All the way to the top, just making sure there aren't any really big gaps anywhere. And then when that's all closed up like that, you want to get to the other end, and now you can kind of start to curve it to how you want it to be, and it should hold its shape. So I want to add another bead here on the end, so I'm going to get up till I'm kind of, as I look at it this way, because this is the way you're going to be looking at it, you want it to have a nice point. So I feel like mine needs another bead here. It doesn't always, I don't know why, it works out different sometimes, but if you feel like you need a bead on the end here, just picking up a bead, going back through that one that I'm coming out of, but on the opposite side, back into the bead I just added, and then kind of anchoring it where I want it to sit, and going through this bead to pull it back into that position like that. And then just playing around with it, getting it into the shape that you want. If you feel like that bead you just added isn't sitting in the right place, you can, or it's a bit like mine, a bit loose, I'm going to also anchor it down to this bead as well on this side, and then back through that bead. So just keep playing around with it until you're happy with the shape, and then you can decide where you want to attach your jump ring from. So I just do it from almost on the end, but a little bit like more central from about here. So what you're going to do is kind of move back into your piece along the top to where you want it to be attached from. So I'm just moving along through a few beads and kind of hold it like this, see if that's where you want it to hang, hold it up. I can't show you, but holding it up and seeing if you like where it's going to hang. I'm actually going to go back this way and do it really towards the end. So when you've got it to where you want your string to be coming, your jump ring to be coming out of, then it's up to you whether you want to add a little accent bead or not. I'm just going to add clear beads, I think. I didn't say that in the materials list, but if you have any clear beads, that's kind of nice for the hanging bit, because if you do the same silver, it makes it look like a weird shape, like it's part of the moon. So then I've got this clear colour. It's got a rainbow finish on it, but it's mostly clear. I'm just going to pick up 3 of those, slide it down. It also depends how low you want it to hang from your jump ring. If it's going to be an earring, you could do like a really long strand of clear beads and have it kind of dangling mid-air, which would be quite nice. So add whichever combination of beads, accent beads you want. I'm going to do 4. And then picking up your jump ring and going back down through all of those beads and back into the one you're coming out of, but go into it on the other side so that it's going to sit nice and level. Like that. So you should have this, and then I'm going to go through that all again. So up through all of my beads, through my jump ring, back down through all of those beads again. And then back into the bead. Doesn't matter which side this time because it's already connected to both sides now. So then just check that you like the way that that's going to hang and make any adjustments if not, and then that's it all finished. So just make sure it's all sitting how you want it to sit. These beads on the end, like for example here, I could add another bead here to make it a bit more of a point, but I think it looks okay like that. So this one, see how they're all slightly different at the end depending on where you add those beads, but generally they have the same kind of shape. I think it's nice that they're all a little bit unique as well. So all that's left to do is to tie your knots, so just moving away from where I was, and then I'm going to tie my knots in the usual way. So taking my needle, I'm going to go under the thread that connects my bead to the next one. Don't know if you can see that, but my needle's gone under those threads. Pull that through and go through the loop you create twice from bottom to top. Pull it nice and tight. Till you feel the knot tighten, then you can move through some more beads, tie as many knots as you want, or a couple with what thread you've got left, and then cut your thread and you're all finished. Forgot to say, do the same thing with your tail thread as well, obviously, and cut that off. And then we are all finished. So this is what the finished moons look like. So again, difference between delica beads and round seed beads, but the sparkle you get with these silk inside delicas is incredible. So pretty. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and you were able to make one of these. It wasn't too complicated, because I know it is a bit complex in here when it's getting a bit tight and you can't really see which beads I'm talking about. But hopefully you got the general idea of the technique and you'll be able to pull it off in your own way. Comment down below anything else you'd like to see. Let me know which of my celestial series you are most looking forward to, so I know which ones to do in which order. I know that this is my favourite, definitely my favourite. Little Saturn, so cute. Yeah, let me know which one you want to see next, and we'll see which one gets the most votes. I'll also put a vote up on Instagram as well to get an idea over there. So you can follow me there at Beading by Hannah, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, see you next time.